Hello YouTube friends! In today's video I've done 3 things in one and it's going to be a blast, so stay tuned. So today is October 1st, even though you're watching this on October 2nd, that is if you're there on the day it was released. Anyway, today is the first day of Productivober, and if you don't know what that is, just go check out this video right here. It'll explain that. And I told you guys in that video I wasn't going to do Inktober, but I can't handle it, guys. I can't stand not doing Inktober. So I'm really gonna mess myself up and I'm going to do Productivober and Inktober together at the same time. Well, shoot. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of work. I'm probably gonna wear myself out this month just a little bit. So if you've been around my channel for a little while, then you know that I like to participate in Dena Tollefson's challenges, and she has another one that was due today, and that was the Favorite Insect Art Challenge. So I did butterflies because I like butterflies, but I knew from the beginning that I wanted to do a more abstract style where Brusho would be the perfect product to use for that. Well, it just so happens that I got Brusho in an old subscription box, and I actually opened that subscription box when I received it, and I actually videoed it, surprise, surprise, and I found that footage, so I will put that in this video here for you and let you see the opening and what I did and how I created all my color charts and stuff like that. And then I used Brusho in this Favorite Insect Art Challenge of Dena Tollefson's. Dena Tollefson puts on these art challenges every few months, maybe every quarter, a little more often sometimes, and they're really fun to participate in because you can go look at the playlist that she hosts over on her channel, and I will link that here as well, and check out everyone's work. You're welcome to participate too. If you post yours a little bit late, she might even find it and add it to the thing. So back to Inktober for a minute. The first Inktober prompt for today, this is still October 1st, remember, even though you're watching this on the 2nd, is fish. And I thought, well, you know what? I can do a fish with Brusho too, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do in this video. So if you wanna see how Productivober and Inktober go mixed all together, then go ahead and subscribe down below and hit the like button on this video if at the end you're like, hey, that was pretty fun. I have this whole calendar full of what my ideas were for Productivober, and I'm actually going to try and incorporate those into Inktober as well. So we'll have some pretty interesting videos here, I suspect. Yeah, because there's so many things on this Productivober calendar that I still really want to get to and really kind of need to get to. So we'll see how this all goes. It'll be a journey. All right, let's just get into the video already. This box is a little beat up, but inside we have some really fun things. The brochure, as usual, 3 things of Brusho, a spray bottle, and a fluid watercolor block of paper. So lots of good value there. Oh, I forgot about the paintbrush. And a paintbrush. Brusho is so fun because you can use it like a salt shaker. So I'm just using a thumbtack or a push pin to stick holes in the very tops of them, and then you kind of waller it out a little because a push pin by itself is too thin to actually get a lot of stuff out. So waller it around or use one of those extra thick push pins, and then you'll get a nice big hole in the top, and then you'll want to cover that with tape or something so if it spills or falls over, it doesn't make a mess. And you can just keep the push pin in it, but the case that I ended up using, it doesn't fit with the push pins in it. So you saw here I just put the powder on dry paper and then took my spray bottle. I'm not sure why I'm not using the spray bottle that came with it. Maybe some time had passed or something and I just couldn't find it or was using it for something else. But look at the powder spread. It's why Brusho is so incredibly addicting. It's just amazing to watch on the paper. You could just do it all day. You have to be really careful when you're using the water that you don't overwater this because the pigment is made up of several different colors sometimes. Not all of them are, but sometimes they are, and it's that differentiation of those different powders in there that I think is so darn pretty. And if you use too much water, it will obviously blend together like the pigment's supposed to be, just like a watercolor would made up several different pigments. So be careful if you want that separation. You're going to also need to choose Brusho colors that, I'm sorry that was so jumpy there, but anyway, you're going to need to choose Brusho colors that are also made up of more than one pigment because, like I said, some of them aren't. And I apparently didn't catch swatching on video, or if I did, I lost it, but you can see I did one solid line where the pigments all mixed together, and then one where I just kind of shook it on and tried to keep the pigment separate. So you can see the ones that are and are not made up of more than one pigment. And in my opinion, the only ones I really, really enjoy using are the ones that spread out into multiple colors. Just makes it so much fun. Look at those colors. They're just gorgeous. And here are those two pieces. All these years later, I had them down in my stash of, I need to draw something on these pictures. Here's the little one. Don't really know what that one was going to end up being, but haven't looked at them in a long time. But I could have pulled this one out right away and drawn lots of butterflies on this. That would have been kind of neat. This could be a vine. We could flip it over, and maybe at some point I'll still do that. I also kind of saw maybe a fox over here that I could do, or a bear. Those are the eyes, the nose. So there's really cool things you can pull out of these. And then my grandma and I, some point right after that, just played and played with Brusho, because it is really addicting. Once you start, you don't want to stop. Look at the effects you can get. It's just awesome. This is one of my favorites. Just letting the powders be still unmixed and not use it as a full-on paint gives you these beautiful things. And this is trying to control it a little bit better, and that was way fun. This one here, I could have made butterflies out of this one for sure. Still could, but I'm a bit out of time. This is coming out tomorrow morning at 8, and it's already 6 p.m. Yeah, I'm like that. That one's awesome. Anyway, we had bleach in a spray bottle and sprayed that on there, and so that's a cool effect you can do. This is super cheap paper, so it's hard to do much on that. Did a little heart. Really like that. Could make a card out of that one. Tried to do something a little more controlled, and it's okay. Not great. My favorite part is, you know, the mess. My tree. I do love this one. This is on super cheap paper too, but it worked really well. Love it. Okay, this is using it more as paint. And that's all of our plays. So yeah, years later, here it all is. Anyway, did I pull out these to do my butterflies? No, I created brand new messes to work with. So let's get into that now. Starting out using my Arches cold pressed 140-pound watercolor block, 16 by 20. I have the Brusho colors vermilion, dark brown, and then as a backup, if I need it, yellow. I'm just throwing some sketches of butterflies on there so I have a general idea where I want my colors to be, and then I wet most of it, leaving a few spaces dry here and there. And now for the fun part, putting the powder on. I could tell that I had not done this in a while. I was out of practice because, I don't know, it just didn't feel like as natural as it did back when I was playing with it before, but you can tell where I had dry spots and it was too dry. I went ahead and took my brush and blended them in and out on the outside as well. So you can see this beautiful, I think it was the dark brown that I chose. It just spreads gorgeously, and then there I'm adding the vermilion, and wow, is that bright. And then I decided to do this one where I wet it first in a butterfly shape and then shook the powder on it. And this one actually ended up being my favorite. I kind of just leave it like this. I spray it just a tiny bit, and it's just so pretty. I love this one. On this one, I don't know. This one's a flop. I love how the colors spread and everything. I just couldn't make anything out of it. So this one I think I end up throwing away. Well, I don't throw it away because I can use the backside of the paper, but I don't use it for this challenge. This one here I'm just keeping super simple, and you'll see how that goes. This one is all dry, and I want to add more layers on top of it, so I need to spray it, because the moment I add more water to this, it will definitely just reactivate some of this color. So I'm just brushing off some of that dry powder, just a super light touch with a very dry paper towel. And then I'll take it outside and spray it, I guess with fixative. That's all I think that I have. So forgive the motorcycle gear and apparel there. I was just about to head out for a ride and wanted to get this sprayed before I left. I had a gut feeling this wouldn't work, or if it did work, it would kind of destroy the effect that we get with watercolor paper. but I figured I'd give it a try anyway. What is art if you're not experimenting, right? So I actually came back the next day and started this, and I just put some Brusho powder into my little ceramic palettes. I wanted to actually make paint with it, and then I suspected the fixative wouldn't work. Oh, check this out though. Look how this works in water. Wait for it. Isn't that just awesome? That's exactly the effect I was hoping it would do. So I just go over it again to see if it would spread farther and make it darker, and it did. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And like I said before, I started to say how I didn't think the fixative would work. It didn't. But when I went to re-wet the whole paper, I absolutely loved the smears of red that I got along the side. So I'm like, you know what? That's a huge win. I am very lucky that happened because I like that better. So here I am following the sketch, which I can still see underneath, to draw in my butterflies. And I was looking at a reference, several references actually, but I don't know. I don't like these butterflies. I don't know if I don't like them so drawn in or what. Maybe I don't think they should be so precise with this style, possibly, but something about them. This is actually not my favorite. I will be pulling this one off the block and probably just using the back for scrap. You can see how warped the paper is. I didn't tape it down or anything, so I will definitely do taping if I do this again. So here I'm just wetting some areas because I want the black to spread, but I don't really want, I don't don't want it drawn in like that other one. So look at that. Look at how that spreads. And I do that much, and then I'm kind of like, you know what? This one is perfect. I don't want to do anything else to it, so that's how I leave it. This one, I tried to do a butterfly up in the top, and I don't like it. Like I said, this one's also just going to be used for scrap, the back side of it, because it's just, I don't like it. What do you guys see? Maybe you guys see something I don't. And this is the little one. I really like this little one. I just drew in a whole bunch of butterflies, kind of like floating along in the wind. So the little powder colors there, I guess, can be like wind or flowers blowing in the air or some imaginary magic substance. I don't know. It just is really nice. I like it. I like the just flowy left up to right aspect of it. It's just a feel-good one. And then I just fiddle with the background a little bit more. And I decided that top one up there wasn't standing out enough, so I changed that up a bit. Well, that does conclude the Favorite Insect Art Challenge for Dena Tollefson's event. I do have what I did for the first day of Inktober coming up, plus a ton of bloopers at the end. Anyway, this was really fun. Brusho's awesome. You should try it. I actually use it again here in the fishy. So yeah, keep watching. There's lots more to come. Moving right on to Inktober day 1, and I learned my lesson from those butterflies, and I am going to tape this down. So put it on my pants, which is probably a bad idea because I have 5 pets in the house. But this doesn't have to be perfect. But yep, I'm going to tape this down because you saw how badly those butterflies warped, and I don't know, I didn't like it. It drove me crazy. Didn't want my paper to be all bendy, and now if I want them flat, I'm going to have to do all this wetting and squishing under something heavy or ironing, and I just am not interested in that. That sounds like work. Okay, now we get to pick the fishy colors. Definitely olive green. Gamboge. Definitely gamboge. Oh yeah. Olive green, gamboge. Maybe the black again. That black is just awesome. I'm going to have to buy more black. Alright, I have to find gamboge. So I'm just sitting here staring at this paper because I realized for Inktober, I like to have my pages all the same size because you know I've worked in the sketchbook for the last 2 years, and so at the end of this it'd be nice to have something that's all the same size that can go in a sketchbook. Now I have to make hard decisions. Okay, I'm doing it, which means I need a ruler. We are going to use bee paper the whole time. That's probably a really bad idea. I wonder what Brusho would do on Bristol paper. We better get some and try that out. Alright, got me some Bristol. This is from a palette full packs. Oh look, there's even a little extra sheet. Now which way is up and which way is down? No idea, maybe it doesn't matter. Let's see what this does. Get a brush, some water. Boy oh boy. See how Bristol does and doesn't like water. and paint. This is like an ink, this Brusho stuff, so it's probably great. It's probably perfect. Brusho, Bristol is probably going to love it. So I think if I tape it down, it'll probably be a lot cheaper to use Bristol paper than the watercolor paper. So, oh, gamboge is beautiful. All right, there's my fish. How do you like it? Actually, that probably could be a fish. I was just joking, but I kind of like it. All right, I'm going to tap this off in the trash can, get the powder off. That actually could be a fish. Well, we'll have to see how that goes. So this Bristol paper is really awesome for this Brusho, so I think that's a win. Look at that, it's soaking it up. I just love it, and this is totally going to be my fish because, well, as long as it's the right size, because, anyway. So I'm going to use Bristol paper. There were 12 sheets in here. 12 times 4 is 48. So yeah, there might actually be enough to do all of Inktober. So what I will do is grab my fancy little paper cutter that I've had for a century and a half and cut this into fourths. And that will be, ooh, that's kind of big. Well, I'm still going to do it. Is this a fourth? This doesn't look as big as a fourth. Oh, yeah, it is. Sweet. We lucked out. So yeah, cutting this into fourths. So one sheet gives me 4, and I'll have my first day of Productivober, which was actually the favorite insect art challenge, but now my first day of why did I name it that? What the heck? My first day of Productivober will also be getting all of my Inktober sheets ready for the month. Well, that was awful, but I do have all of my Inktober sheets cut. But I highly recommend, if you're going to do that, just buy the right size from the start. Okay, it wasn't really that bad, but I didn't enjoy it, and that's always sad. The little fishy started to bend a little as it dried more, so it's being squished under some heavy stuff right over there. And we'll pull that out in just a second, and we'll make it a fish, because I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm excited for that one. That was like totally accidental, and it's going to be perfect. Just perfect. I decided this fish needed a little bit of wispiness, and I didn't even realize it till just now, but that is also one of the Inktober words. Too bad I couldn't use it for both, right? So I spray the bottom of it a little bit and let it run. Gotta be careful not to overspray, but I think it did okay. And since I got it wet again, I had to let it dry again, and then I put it under books again. Yeah, more of that. So here I decided to draw the fish, and I took a minute to decide if this was a fish from the side or from the top, and I could really only see it from the top in my mind's eye. So we are doing the fish as a view from the top. Just drawing in some little whiskers. I'm like, maybe it's kind of a catfish. Although looking back at this video, I think those whiskers need to be longer, so I'll probably go back and do that too. Then I was debating on that little part that sticks out because it's not really right for fish anatomy and all of that, but you know, it's an abstract. I decided to leave it alone and just go ahead and label it. Call it good. And so there is day 1 of Inktober, fish. I did it. I did them both. And the art challenge. Woohoo! And so I have Brusho. No. Well, it just happens that I got Brusho in an old subscription box, and I happened to open it. No. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm hungry. I've lost my train of thought. Also, what was my also? No, it was an important also. Where is my calendar? I am really hungry still. All right, thanks again. That was Inktober, the art challenge, and Productivober all in one.